I was not, fresh baked, I was low-key not expecting this kind of morning. Morning, guys. It is 8:21 in the morning. I was trying for rope drop, but didn't make it because it's such a scene, you guys. This is, you would think that Rise of the Resistance was opening this morning. This is the most intense scene that I've seen at Disneyland in years, literal years. I can't, just look at Main Street right now at 8:20. And it's not just here. I arrived at the Toy Story parking lot this morning well before rope drop. The line was out there to Orangewood. Haven't seen that. You see that maybe at D23, and that's about it, or when there's a major conference. The line out at Esplanade to get into the park was all the way to the DCA entrance. I haven't seen that since Rise of the Resistance opened. Hi guys. I haven't seen the ticket queue get back that far since Rise of the Resistance. It's incredible. I did not think that there was going to be this much hype and demand for the 70th, but it's real. It's here. They've been doing the 70th now for months, but it's Walt's, it's the Walt show. It's all the new stuff that's happening. People are excited and hyped. There is the Walt show. Okay, so there is a virtual queue. Let's go back to Town Square. Let's talk about the virtual queue for the Walt Disney show, Walt, It's a Magical Life. And there is the Main Street Opera House. Before we start talking about that virtual queue, I got to tell you, I'm already kind of weak a little bit, because look at this, they're handing these out. It's a guide map, which I can't believe it's still a thing, but it's dated specifically for today, and it's got a picture of Walt, the last picture taken of Walt in Disneyland. It's amazing, and you get a commemorative button, Disneyland Resort 70th celebration. Amazing, I cannot believe this day is here, and it's being received and hyped as much and as well as it is today. I can't be more happy. This is making me so happy that people are this happy to be here right now. All right, virtual queue for the Main Street Opera House and the Walt Disney show happening there. There's going to be 2 distributions, one at 7 a.m., one at noon. At 7 a.m., you do not have to be in the park. I got mine this morning at home as I was getting ready to come to the park. 7 a.m. is the first distribution. In my mind, I thought this is not going to be as in demand as, let's say, Rise was, obviously, or Runaway Railway, or Tiana's even. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. They were gone in minutes. I got one. We have Group 70, and we should be getting called here in a little bit. But I'm one of the fortunate ones. I know a few people that, friends of mine that did not get in. So you do want to be there and be ready at 7 a.m. But the trick is to not try and time it right. Don't wait for 7 and just like, okay, boom, we can go like that. Don't do that. Spam it. Spam the refresh button at 7:59 or 6:59 and keep hitting that button. And that's because it resets every time you do it. There might be a microsecond where, there's a delay perhaps, but it resets the clock every time. So you don't have to wait for it to you don't have to wait, basically. So you're more likely to hit that 7 a.m. exactly if you're spamming it. So that's that trick. And I believe that's how I haven't missed since I started doing that back in Tiana's Bayou Adventure. 7 a.m. and then noon. Noon, you do have to be in the park. You can do it from DCA, but you have to have a park hopper. So if you're in DCA, obviously you have to have a Disneyland ticket in order to get. You have to have a ticket, or you have to have a reservation if you're a Magic Key holder. So that's those are requirements. And then be sure to set your party ahead of time. Make sure your party is who you want to be on that list. But otherwise, it's pretty simple. It's just like every other virtual queue that we've had since Rise of the Resistance. This morning at 7 a.m. I got my virtual queue, finished getting ready, got in my car, and I checked it again at 7:10 and they were gone. My belief is that they were gone well before that 7:10 spot, but I checked because I thought, okay, they'll still be available. They were not. They were not. So you definitely do need to be on time for now. I don't think that this is going to be like, it's not going to be like this every day going forward, not even for a little while, perhaps maybe even just a week or so. Today is a very special day. Today is a very unique and special day, so the demand for this day is significantly higher than it will be even tomorrow. But just to be safe, to get up at 7 a.m., do the refresh trick. I have a feeling that this will be off virtual queue probably within a week or two is my guess. Let's get back out to Main Street. We've got a little bit of time still for our return time at Magical Life. There are a few experiences going on here today besides the Walt Disney show at the Main Street Opera House. For one, there is the Main Street Cinema. There's the new verse at It's a Small World. And there's a show, a presentation, an exhibit, as it were, back at the Main Street Opera House prior to the Walt Disney show, so we're going to be able to check that out. But let's get started right here at the Main Street Cinema. So much that we share. It's a tribute to the Sherman brothers. Wow. When is the last time you've ever seen the Main Street Opera House this packed? I gotta say, I kind of low-key love that. It's much simpler than I thought they were going to do. I thought it'd be more like a documentary, but it's just basically the song being played out with various pieces of B-roll over time, over history, different environments, etc. I really like that. It was really neat, very modest, very understated, kind of delightful. And then at the very end, there's a little interlude there at the end, and then you hear the final verse, the Sherman Brothers the Sherman brother verse at the end, but they added that in, and it kind of hits you right in the heart, right in the feels. There is so much energy right now on this Main Street, out in front of the Main Street Cinema. It is still quite a scene. It's 9:02, and it is time now for us to go see the show, go see A Magical Life. So it looks like we were right that they might run a queue into the backstage area here, the overflows for like parades, etc. Hello. There you go. Just yourself? Yeah, just me. Thank you. Thank you. So we are now into the virtual queue. So it does look like they're giving you an opportunity to check out the exhibit before the show, before we get in there. So we're going to take a look around. And oh my God, they've got Walts Apartment. Look at that. Wow. So few get to see this because it's only, for certain private tours. It's limited for sure. Now, I have no idea if these are the exact items, the furniture, etc., or if it's just replicas, but it doesn't matter. This is what you see. I've been in the room twice. This is what you see. And there's the lamp looking down over Town Square. Amazing. Looks like we've got some concept art. Wow, Thomas More Island. the treehouse that you used to be able to go into on the island. Wow. The vision, the canoes. Wow. This has evolved quite a bit over time, hasn't it? House of Tomorrow. Or House of the Future. Monsanto House of the Future. Tomorrowland. That looks like from the, that's the steampunk thing they tried to do there. Looks like this is Adventureland. Oh, they got a banner up there that says Tomorrowland, but it is not. That is certainly Adventureland, Jungle Cruise. How far back these renderings go, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, here we go. True Life Adventure ticket booth. This has got to be pretty vintage, I would imagine. Treehouse. Frontierland, Big Thunder. Look at this. Wow. I wish it were that bright. While we're on it. Wow, Rainbow Caverns down there. Frontierland, huh? Okay. That's Galaxy's Edge, if you ask me. So it looks like they've updated this display. This used to be the, past, present, and future, where they would show you, some of the concepts or images from the back of the day, and then what's to come. This is now something. It's a recognition of Walt Disney, probably his awards and etc. Main Street, fantastic. Look at that. That looks like a Herb Ryman. Jolly Holiday, that's a more modern one. Plaza Inn. That looks like it wants to say Carnation, but we know Carnation Cafe isn't anywhere near that big. Fantasyland, wow. God, do you guys miss that or what? I really do. I miss that. I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I would have liked. I don't see the Storybook Land deal where you go down the slide down the whale's mouth. I don't see that piece of art here. Unless maybe it's on the other side, but this is just castle stuff. There's the infamous, or famous, castle art. A whole bunch of park maps, which I won't bore you with examining this in detail, but do spend some time in here, Fresh Bake, because this is an absolute treasure of Disneyland history.
Right this way, we got plenty of seats towards the back of the theater as well.
Welcome, friends, through towards the back of the theater.
They say that Hollywood is a town built on dreams, and one of its greatest dreamers was Walt Disney. The story of Walt's life is truly a magical one.
But I still couldn't get anywhere with it. I failed. I learned a lot out of that, and I think it's important to have a good failure when you're young.
Most people would have given up right then and there. Not Walt Disney. He sent a telegram to his brother Roy. Everything okay. And as he headed home to California, something happened along the way that would change things forever.
Mickey Mouse came into our life. I had done a little story research on different fairy tales I might do, and Snow White was one of them. I thought it was the perfect story. But after the war, there was quite a problem picking up the pieces. I knew that diversifying in the business would be the salvation of it. I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where the parents and the children could have fun together. So that's how Disneyland started. We know what our goals are. We know what we hope to accomplish. And believe me, it's the most exciting and challenging assignment we've ever tackled at Walt Disney Productions.
Throughout his storied career, Walt never gave up, despite the many challenges along the way. For his visionary work, he received hundreds of awards from all corners of the globe, more Academy Awards than any individual in history, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom for a lifetime of inspiring others. He created dreams that live on today for millions around the world. But with all of that, when asked to name his greatest reward, Walt's reply was surprisingly humble.
Well, my greatest reward, I think, is that I've been able to build this wonderful organization, and also to have the public appreciate and accept what I've done all these years. That is a great reward. But all individuals are different. I had a brother who I really envied because he was a mailman, but he was the one that had all the fun. He had himself a trailer, and he used to go off and go fishing, and he didn't worry about payrolls, heard stories, he just had picture grocers or anything, and he was the happy one. I always said he's the smart Disney. You know, I was stopped one day when the little boy asked, "Do you draw Mickey Mouse?" And I had to admit I do not draw anymore. Well, then you think of all the jokes and ideas. No, I said, I don't do that. Finally, he looked at me and said, "Mr. Disney, just what do you do?" Well, I said, sometimes I think of myself as a little bee. I go from one area of the studio to another and gather pollen and sort of stimulate everyone. I guess that's the job I do. You know, there's a lot of satisfaction in developing ideas into realities, but there's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors, doing new things, because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. We're always exploring and experimenting. We're interested in doing things that are fun, in bringing pleasure and especially laughter to people. But I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing. It was all started by a mouse.
Well, I know that there was some drama, some conversation that was going on after the media preview 2 days ago. There was some discussion about the quality of the animatronic. I even talked about it in an Instagram reel that day as well. And I was curious. I was wondering, would I be able to enjoy the show as much as I had been hoping I would be able to? And I can answer that question now. I can answer that question quite easily, and as you could probably guess, that show was it was incredible. I mean, okay, so first of all, the first 2/3 of the show is basically the show that they do at Walt Disney World at Hollywood Studios. I don't know, I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically the same show. It's a little history and how, the Walt Disney Company came to be, how Walt became who he was and everything, which is obviously very inspirational. I find that show very inspiring personally, and I could watch that on a loop. But then the animatronic, I did sit in the very back row because that's where I always sit because I don't want my camera to be in anybody's way, so I could shoot, without having to worry about that. But I can tell you, hi guys, I can tell you without any sort of difficulty that you don't even, when he is on stage, I almost thought I was watching a movie. Walt Disney's there on stage. He is there on stage. That is Walt Disney up there. I was fully convinced. When he leaned, you almost don't even notice. It's almost taken for granted the movements that he's doing. It's so fluid and so correct as to how we know Walt. I just found it amazing. And the dialogue that he gives, people said it sounded robotic. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I mean, it's tinny. It's tinny because of the acoustics in the room and the fact that the audio is coming from Walt himself and not from the speakers around you. Although I do feel like something is being amplified in some way, but it is tinny. But I don't care. It sounds like he's talking through like an old radio. I am absolutely in love with this show, and I'm in love with the animatronic. And the close-ups that they gave were kind of unfair in a way because you want to compare it to other animatronics that you've seen in the past, but those animatronics generally don't get that detailed image, like the auctioneer, or you name it, whatever, or just non-human like figures that are so easy to draw, so easy to animate in an animatronic compared to a human, especially a human that we know as well as Walt Disney. That's a long way to say you're not even going to be aware of the differences or the imperfections in the Walt Disney animatronic and how he looks. He's there. Okay, that is Walt. I am absolutely 100% in love with this show, and I could see myself watching the show again and again and again. I can't wait until tomorrow. I'm gonna be back here for a construction report tomorrow. I'm gonna watch it again tomorrow, and as many times as I can after that. It's great. So that's Town Square at 10:21 in the morning, and already that sort of intense vibe that was happening here at 8 a.m. is starting to fade down a little bit. Hi, morning. It's significantly easier to get around, so much so that I think I'm going to jump on this omnibus. I want to see Main Street from the omnibus right now and sort of soak this in, and we're going to do that on our way to Fantasyland and to see or hear the last verse, the new verse from It's a Small World.
Down Main Street, USA.
Your attention, please. The Disneyland Limited now loading for a trip around Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom.
Alrighty, my friends, well, once again, welcome aboard the omnibus here at Disneyland. We have just started our journey, which will cover roughly 2,000 feet in distance. Now, over the course of 1 year, that 2,000 feet will quickly turn into 26,000 miles. Right in front of us, my friends, we have entered the original Main Street USA. This is one of the biggest inspirations for the rest of the parks around the world. So while we're here at the one and only original, please enjoy the sights, sounds, and smells here. Over on the left-hand side, you may get a great view of Josh Benoit.
There he is, right there.
Alrighty, my friends, as we approach our one and only destination, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times. I want to thank you all for joining me today at Disneyland's 70th anniversary and aboard the Omnibus. Thank you.
Oh my. Looks like we're gonna have a little competition with Lightning Lane this afternoon. Wow. Well, a brisk 57 minutes later, we've arrived on the bridge, and that's actually still kind of a discount because just after we got in the queue, when it said 35, it went up to 75. Let me fix my hat. It went from 35 to 75. Small world is happening today.
Stay seated, friend, please and thank you. Down in front.
No.
Bienvenido. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del barco. Y cuide a los pequeñitos. Gracias.
Welcome to It's a Small World. For your safety, please remain seated throughout your voyage, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the boat. And please watch your children. Thank you.
Willkommen. Für Ihre Sicherheit bleiben Sie bitte während der Bootfahrt sitzen und behalten Sie die Hände, Arme, Füße und Beine im Boot. Bitte achten Sie auf Ihre Kinder. Danke. Bienvenidos. Para su seguridad, permanezcan.
small world after all. Mother Earth unites us in heart and mind, and the love we give makes us humankind. Through our vast wondrous land, when we stand hand in hand, it's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small, small world. Mother Earth unites us in heart and mind, and the love we give makes us humankind. Through our vast wondrous land, when we stand hand in hand, it's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world.
Veuillez rester assis jusqu'à l'arrêt complet du bateau et attendez jusqu'à ce que l'hôte ou l'hôtesse vous demande de descendre. Merci. Por favor.
Ah, amazing. What a delightful, wonderful morning that we just spent here at Disneyland for the 70th, the proper 70th anniversary. Today is Disneyland's birthday, July 17th. And I could not be more happy with how things went. Small World, we'll talk about that real quick. If you're looking for the verse, it's at the end. It's at in the final room, the white room. Hi guys. You don't hear that verse throughout, the other countries as you travel through. Just at the end. And it's really the only verse, I think. I mean, there's the chorus, but then I heard that final verse, the last verse 3 times, I want to say, as we moved through that room. And it blends right in. You notice it, but it also at the same time blends right in. So a fun little addition there. Hi guys. Fun little addition there to Small World. It gives you rewritability. I mean, heck, it's pulling crowds right now. Like I said, it was 75 minutes. When's the last time have I ever seen 75 minutes? I can't think of a time. 75 minutes, it died down a little bit. That was a call to action, by the way. It's probably back down to 45, 50. But even that's unheard of. I absolutely loved the Walt Disney show, Magical Life. Animatronic's fantastic. Hearing Walt speak, having Walt's presence is the most important thing. Just having Walt in the park and giving us the opportunity to connect with Walt and to hear his story and to, remember that his part and obviously his part. I mean, I feel like it's because people have forgotten. They have forgotten. You don't hear from Walt in this park at all. So I'm just so very grateful that they did that, and it looks great. I have absolutely no qualms about saying that, and that's absolutely great. I love that show, very inspirational. And this day has been great. There's more. They got some new merch out. They've got some new food and drinks and stuff like that, which you can sample. I won't be getting into it because it's all over the park. And I want to get home and get this show to you. Oh, and then one final note. I think I alluded to this, but as for virtual queue, I think that the demand for that is probably going to last just for maybe the first week tops. I spoke with a cast member. He's like, probably Sunday. They might take it off virtual queue on Sunday because the demand tomorrow is going to be significantly less than it was today. Tomorrow, Saturday or Friday, and then demand over the weekend is probably going to keep going down. What's happening today? This is Disney's proper birthday. It's opening day. You're going to get significant more attention, especially from the locals. Everybody wants to be here. The dates have been open for a long time for Magic Keys, so everybody wants to be here today. But then if you miss the first day, then the pressure's off. If you don't get the first day, well then, now you're not going to be in as much of a hurry to get down here as a local. You're not going to be in as much of a hurry to get down here and see the show, so you'll see it in time because it's going to be here forever. That's a permanent addition, that Walt Disney show, not just for the 70th, that's a permanent addition to the Main Street Opera House. Come on down to Disneyland, you guys. Come on down to Disneyland. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. All right, you too. Main Street is going to be difficult getting out of here, you guys. I got to wrap this up before I get to Town Square. Get down to Disneyland, see this show. What's up? See this show. It's great. You're going to love it. And by the way, while you're at it, if you're coming in from out of town or if you need help making those plans, please do consider using our travel affiliate, GetAwayToday. There's a link. Hi, guys. There's a link in the description. Hey, what's up, man? Hi, guys. There's a link in the description. Use that link and get treated very, very well. We make all our arrangements through GetAwayToday. We did before, we still do. They're very kind to us. They take good care of us, and they're going to take good care of you as well. Very intelligent, very knowledgeable, sweet, kind, and they want to make your trip the best ever. So that's all I've got to say for today, guys. It is time for me to get home and get this stuff edited. I love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Respect.